And welcome back to Music Free Static. Hope you're having a fabulous day. And as we're recording this, last week was Mother's Day. We've got Father's Day coming up, and I thought it would be fun to sit down with my lovely and amazing wife and talk about what it's like being parents of adult children. Because it's weird, right? I mean, we're at a point now, we don't even have teenagers anymore. Obviously, we knew everything about being parents of little children, right?
I mean, yeah, because we were young, and young people have that sort of mentality of, I know everything. I'll do it better than my parents did. I'll do it right.
Yes. Yeah. The short answer is, yeah, no, we did not. we made all different mistakes from our parents.
And some of the same ones.
Yes, that is true. And so somehow, despite our best efforts, the kids managed to grow up and become competent adults, or at least adults. And I mean, no, our kids are great, but it's different being a parent now than it was being parents to children. So how are you feeling that difference?
Well, there are a few ways. It's scary letting the kids go out on their own. And I have to remind myself that at that age, I was okay. And they'll be okay. They can figure it out. But I know a lot more about the world now than I did then. And letting my kids face that is really scary.
Right? It's easy when they're toddlers. Like, oh, I will just bundle them up and snuggle them and protect them from everything because, they're little bundles that need to be protected from everything. They're all in their 20s now. They don't need to be bundled up, but still, I'm parents, and
The whole in my head, I know they need to go face those things and figure things out and everything, because I'm not going to be here forever. But my heart doesn't know that.
right?
My head does.
I mean, because it's weird because we were married at 18, right? Because we were stupid. Well,
We figured it out.
We figured it out. It was great. And we'll be talking more about that next month. But it was, you think about that, it's like, okay, we were married at 18. Our youngest is like 20. I was an adult at 20, I think. And I was making adult choices.
Not always the smartest ones, but
Very, very true. Very, very true. So
I lump myself into that.
Not making the right choices, or that you were not the right choice?
I'm just not making the right choices.
So I think it was the right choice, but yes, it was very much
No, you were a right choice.
Yeah, that's fair.
I made other choices that weren't always so correct.
Yes. No, I'm right there with you, because it turns out being an adult is hard. And I sit there, it's like, but my kids are not having perfect, easy lives. We're full of joy and happiness, and everything is just sunshine and roses.
Which is a good thing, because then they gain strength and are able to handle a lot more, which they're going to need later on in life. But
yeah, it's scary, and it's weird too, because it's like, all right, I'm at a point in my life, I kind of want grandkids, right? Kids, I can pick up and snuggle and play with and give back, right? I don't need my own little children these days.
I can't keep up full time. No thanks.
No, I'm glad we got that taken care of early. Right? But at the same time, as much as I want grandkids, I think, oh, good. So that means my kids should be dating. Oh no, my kids are dating.
And that means they, should find a permanent person. And then I freak out going, oh, but that's hard. And what if they choose wrong? And it's just like, they are adults. Let them choose.
Right?
That's what my brain says. My heart says, but.
But they might choose wrong.
Yes.
Right? I hate this. Because I very much want them to go out and make their own choices. And yes, their own mistakes. But I don't want them to have to deal with the consequences, which is stupid because they need to deal with the consequences to learn and grow and be better adults. But still, one of the things, it's weird. I tried to do it when they were little. Didn't succeed, I know. But letting them make their own choices. This is hard for me sometimes. Sometimes it's really easy, but sometimes it's hard. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, you like to eat vegetables? You're weird, but I'm down with that. You want to go do what now?
Yes, and I have to remind myself that it's okay. It's okay if they make wrong choices.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't want them to make wrong choices. Absolutely. But looking at my life, I have learned just as much and sometimes more from making the wrong choice than I did from making the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had to deal with those consequences, and that's the problem I have. I don't want the kids to deal with the consequences, but they have to learn.
Yep. Well, and sometimes it's weird because what I might think of a different choice. It may not be necessarily wrong, but for them, that is the right choice. And it's hard sometimes to sit down. It's like, okay, yeah, they're totally just that they know their own situation. They should be able to make these things. But but sitting back and watching them do it, it's like, I want you to be a strong, functioning adult, but you're the kid who, had to pick up and cuddle when you fell down
and it wasn't that long ago.
Right?
I think that's one of the hardest things as a parent is it doesn't feel as long as a parent from babyhood to adulthood
mm-hmm.
as it did as a kid, babyhood to adulthood.
Oh man, yes.
And so you were just toddler like yesterday. And toddlers can't handle all of these adult things that you're dealing with now. So
yep.
It's really hard to remember that they grew up and they grow and change so quickly, and just letting them handle things now. It's so hard.
Yes. Well, I don't know if you remember the movie Father of the Bride. I love the scene because it hits so hard for me, especially now, but where it starts with this like little 6-year-old, Daddy, I'm getting married. Right.
That's what it feels like.
And then it flashes back and there she is, this lovely young woman, adult, obviously. But it's like, but my my baby, right?
Parenting adult children, it makes me have a lot more compassion for my parents.
Right.
Actually, even little kids. It just made me have a lot more compassion for my parents. I understand sometimes why they made the choices they did with me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I thought they were wrong at the time, as a parent, I look at my kids and probably make some wrong decisions too, because I can't read their minds. Right. I don't know what's going on in there unless they tell me, and very frequently they don't. And so I have to guess.
And I'm really bad at that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exceptionally bad at that. Both the guessing and the mind reading. And because they're our kids, communication has never been high on the skill threshold.
I've learned to communicate better
mm-hmm.
as I've gotten older, but that doesn't change 10, 15, 20 years ago when my kids were little and I needed to teach them.
Right.
I didn't know, and you can't teach what you don't know.
Right. It's really hard. Yeah, because I know. Well, it's like when our oldest was little, she got her first loose tooth. We didn't think about. I know I didn't think about. Hey, telling her that, oh yeah, these are your baby teeth, and they'll get loose and they'll fall out, and you'll get big teeth as you get older. Didn't even think about it. So when she comes to us freaking out because she has a loose tooth, it's like, oh, I have failed as a parent.
I felt so bad because she really was freaking out. Just, my tooth is loose, and she was just on the verge of tears, and I felt so bad. And here I am, yay, you've got a loose tooth. And she's just looking at me like, what? Isn't this a bad thing?
Yeah, it was.
And I had to explain to her. Never occurred to me before then that I was going to have to explain. I had forgotten that was a thing until she got a loose tooth.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, I guess I should have warned you about this. And now, as our kids are adults, it's like, what did I also not tell them about? Right?
A lot, it turns out.
Right, because obviously if I know it, then my kids obviously know it too. Right?
Oh, geez, yeah.
I remember sitting down with one of them. It's like, okay, you're leaving for college. If you have any questions about anything, I'm here. Let's talk. And she says, okay, how do you pay bills? It's like, oh, this is a good question. Because obviously she's never had to worry about it before. And it's okay, well, they send you the bill, and usually there are instructions on it, but, walk through that process. But it's like, yeah, these are things. How do you file taxes? Yeah, these are the types of things, like, as they're adults, it's like, what have I missed? Right.
Probably a lot.
And it is crazy.
But you don't think about what you're missing because, I mean, you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And you just automatically do things, and they pick up on some of it, but they don't others, and you never know exactly what they're picking up on because they are notoriously uncommunicative about things like that.
Right. It's like, okay, are they picking up on our values, our beliefs, our tastes in movies or books, or what? Sometimes they tell you those things, and other times, like, I don't know.
And their tastes change when they're little so fast and so often.
Right.
That it's really hard as a parent to keep up. And they still change after they're adults, although not nearly as quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really hard to keep up, and you hope as adults that they realize, oh, hey, yeah, my parents don't actually know this about me. Maybe I should say something if I'm unhappy with what they're doing. But as kids, they don't really do that.
Right.
You just hope they do as adults. They don't always.
When did you start, or maybe stop thinking of them as children and start thinking of them as adults? It was like Thursday.
I mean, I don't know. I think in some ways it's still hard. I think the older ones more so I do now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that they've been out on their own for several years at this point. And also my own learning and growth has learned to let go a little bit and realize, okay, they need to do their thing. I don't have to know everything that's going on in their lives.
Right.
And sometimes I don't know that I really want to know. I mean, I do want to know. I love knowing what's going on in their lives,
Mm-hmm.
but it causes me some stress. And so it's like,
Yes.
is the stress worth it? And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not.
Right.
Younger ones, I kind of want to think about as adults, but sometimes they don't behave that way.
I mean, that's fair.
And so there's not really any one time. I don't know. It's really dependent on a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Each individual child I see differently because they're all different and they have their different strengths and weaknesses, and yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was about high school. And it wasn't like overnight. Oh, they're from children to being adults, because it doesn't work that way. But it was about high school for most of our kids that it started to. Oh yeah, you're adults now and should be making adultish choices on your own. I don't have to be there to hold hands and stuff. And then of course when they went to college, it's like, okay, no, you are an adult. I'm here now to back up. But even then, it's hard sometimes, especially then when you hear about, oh, they're having this really hard time in college. It's like, oh, and I wasn't there to be supportive because I didn't know.
And hold, help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Okay, so here's a weird one. What have you learned about being a parent now that we have adult kids?
That they need to have the freedom to make choices. And not just little choices, which I did absolutely try to do with my kids, letting them have little choices, as toddlers. All right, what do you want to wear today? Or, you can choose to eat or not, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They need to have the choice to make, or the freedom to make bigger choices as well, and suffer the consequences.
Right, good or bad.
Good and bad, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I'm not sure still how I would have handled that. I think I took the easy way out a lot in that way.
Yeah.
But definitely choices.
Yeah, that's definitely there. Because yeah, I mean, and consequences can be amazing, but
For them. I hate because as a parent, it's not just the kids dealing with the consequences. It's me too.
Right.
I have to deal with them, and for a little bit of a control freak like me,
Mm-hmm.
that is not an easy thing to let someone else control that part of my life.
Right.
Not easy, not fun, but necessary.
Right. Well, it was that idea of letting go of that control it's weird. Now, I tend to be a lot more chill, but it's still hard. It's like because I want to see them go off and do amazing things, right? I want to see whatever great things that they decide to do, and maybe their version of what's great is different from mine, and I almost certainly know it is. But still, just being able to say, oh yeah, I never thought about doing that. It's like when when they make say, oh, I'm just going to take myself to Scotland. It's like, oh yeah, I guess that is a thing you can do as an adult, isn't it?
Yeah, but the mom in me is just like, but what if? Did you take care of this? And
Uh-huh. Oh right, it's easy to want to sit there. It's like but details, especially because I know you are hyper fixated on details.
Yes, I have to restrain myself a little bit. She'll figure it out. And if she doesn't, she'll figure it out. And she did. She had an amazing time and got to hold an owl and, Mm-hmm.
right. But yeah, it is so weird I mean, it's great. Don't get me wrong. I love the kids are adults and doing adult things, but it is definitely just, you never stop being a parent, right? And that's,
I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions I had when, like, before I had kids or when my kids were little, was, or our kids were little, sorry,
yeah,
was thinking that once they're adults, I don't have to worry about it anymore.
right.
I had no idea, no clue.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I don't have to worry about it anymore, but I do.
Right.
I worry about them. I worry, do you have a job that you can live on? Do you have a place you can live? How do you know how to do these things? Ah! And
Right.
it comes with, I now see so much more that needs done in adulthood, and all the things that can go wrong in adulthood. And I remember myself at that age and not really understanding those things. And so it's like, I'm freaking out because they might make choices that'll lead them the wrong way. And then they'll have to suffer the consequences, and then I will cry.
Right. On the other hand, they may make choices like, oh, that is, I never saw that as part of you, but you do that, and that's awesome. Right? It's like our youngest who just decided, oh, I'm just going to do art today. Sure, okay,
Or sew a dress, or I'm without a pattern. She just okay.
Yeah, because I know you sat down with them to teach them how to sew.
But I taught them from a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And Brittany's just, yeah, but I don't want that one. And I don't want to pay 10, 50, $20 for a pattern. I want to do this my way. And then she does the research and looks it up and figures out how to do it. What amazes me is that she has the patience to do that. I have no patience to do that.
Right.
I can do that with crocheting,
Mm-hmm.
but it took time for me to develop that patience to be able to do it, even with crocheting.
Right. Well, and
Certainly didn't have it at her age.
yeah. Well, it's being an adult is different in some ways now than it was when we were adults. Apparently, I'm not an adult anymore. When we came of age, the world was a significantly different place than it is now. Right? Google didn't exist. Right? When we graduated high school, the
Even
internet,
college.
yeah. Well, Google started while we were in college.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But the internet had just opened up for public use in 95. Right. But if we wanted to go learn something, we had to go to a library. We had to find, if our library was poorly stocked, okay, you could interlibrary loan a book, and 3 weeks later you might have it. Now it's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to watch these 12 YouTube videos and go do a thing. And it is just a different way of being, really. And I love the internet, but it's an entirely different mindset in some ways.
Yeah, it makes schooling different,
Mm-hmm.
but it also makes life different. I don't know how I survived really without the internet. Being able to just look up the answer to any question that might pop into my head, now, no matter how stupid it
Mm-hmm.
is so different from when I was growing up. And the kids can do that, and they've had that their whole lives.
Right.
So it's just kind of part of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know how to do this. Let me go look it up and try it out,
And it's fun. I mean, they're stumbling into weird things. Sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing, and that's really cool. And It's like, oh, or I said, I'm just going to start making my own patterns for things, or yeah, I want to write this. Let me go figure out how to do that. I guess looking back now that our kids are old and we can't corrupt them nearly as much as we could when they were little, what I guess that's the question. What would you have done differently? Because I know I was definitely picking up on your control freak when our kids were little and trying and getting with that too. I definitely would have tried to have been a little bit more or a lot more relaxed in some cases with the kids.
Absolutely. That's definitely what I would have done. Just been less controlling and less emotional about that.
Mm-hmm.
Just, okay, this is what you're choosing. Well, here are the consequences, and you're gonna suffer these consequences. I don't think I had the ability to be able to do that.
Right.
25 years ago, 30 years ago, I just don't think I had that ability to do that. I was just way too controlling. Felt like I had to control every aspect of my life and by extension theirs.
Yes.
So that is definitely something I would have let go on. I should have done.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the biggest thing. I mean, there are certain things, okay, this, in order to make our household function well, this is what you need to do.
Right.
And for your own safety, you need to, not run out in the middle of the street without looking,
Yes.
So those things I'm all right with being a little bit controlling on. But there are some things it's just like I should have just let them deal with things.
Right.
But I don't know that I had the ability to allow that just as a me thing.
Well, that's an interesting question. Did having children help you become a more accepting of not having control?
Yeah. I had to let go of control because let's face it, 3 of our kids are just like me. And it was a battle of wills there.
Yep.
And some of them went about it differently than others, but I mean, Rebecca and I clashed so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So hard. Both wanted our own way, and there are things that I was just like, you know what? Okay, I can let this go. Like cleaning, they're cleaning at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I can let the mess happen during the day as long as they clean it up at night, and I can enjoy a few hours of the house being picked up.
Right.
It didn't make it easy. I still don't like that, but it allowed them to be, to play, to be who they are a little bit.
Right.
And learning to let go of control. Oh, you have to, as a parent, you have to. And I don't know that I could have understood that. As a kid, I just don't think I could have understood how much a part of parents' life the child is. Right. Even as an adult. They just are. They're just a part of who you are. And I don't think I really understood that before I had kids. And I tried to remember that as they were growing up, that they just don't understand. Right. They can't understand. And tried to give them a little bit of space because I knew they didn't understand. But yeah, having kids changed me in a lot of ways, but that's the biggest one, learning to let go of things.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I learned a lot as we went through. I was a much better parent to our younger children than I was to our older kids.
Same.
We screwed them up so badly, those the older ones, and I'm so sorry.
But at the same time, the older ones they basically had different strengths.
Yes.
Than the younger ones. Um, I still think I did a better job with the younger ones, learning
Mm,
to let them make choices and whatnot. But the older ones learned more self control.
mm.
So I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's honestly, there were some choices I think we made as children, or as children, yes, when our kids were little, that helped them as they grew up, while also helping us. I mean, having them fold their own laundry, right? Because we had 5 kids. There was a lot of laundry. And so teaching them and having them fold their own clothes, I don't think any of them were necessarily thrilled with the idea. But
Especially at first. Once they got used to, when they were older and this is just what we do,
mm-hmm,
they didn't really complain about it. But
right.
when they were little, yeah, it was like, okay, you're going to learn how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You need to learn. I
Yep.
did try to explain to each of the kids, and I might have missed one or two, missed explaining it to one or two, that I'm teaching, you need to learn to do chores around the house. You need
Mm-hmm.
to learn to work. You need to learn this thing because one day you're going to have a house of your own, and it's important that you learn how to do it so that you can give your care of your own house later.
Right.
And you need to learn how to stick to it and that kind of thing. I think I explained it to all of the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and they understood it. They still didn't like the chores,
I don't know
but
that there's a kid that does like chores.
but being able to understand the purpose really did help, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we taught all of our kids how to cook. That doesn't mean they're cooking.
But they know
Sometimes
how. And
I mean,
sometimes they do cook.
yeah, well, it's like, they may choose, all right, no, I will, in fact, live off of chicken nuggets and frozen. Okay. But at least if you want to sit down and make a pasta salad, they know how. Right. I'm glad we limited screen time to some extent.
And
And I
most of our
know,
kids are grateful for that too,
mm-hmm,
even though they weren't happy about it at the time.
right. But it's like, okay, no, you can watch one movie or a relatively equivalent amount of TV shows. Um, because hey, 20 minutes of Thomas the Tank Engine. Sure, you can go ahead, watch, an hour and a half of Thomas the Tank Engine. That's okay. Um,
And an
and
hour of
and
games.
then the hour of games, and part of that too was just we had 5 kids. If they all wanted to play, it was that we needed to have time so that they could do it.
Most of my purpose was you need to learn how to do other things. Play with your toys, learn how to interact with one another. And you don't need all that screen time, which you don't need all that screen time.
Yeah, yeah. But let's see, how much of my day do I spend in front of a screen?
Exactly.
Okay, not counting work because okay, my job involves sitting in front of a screen. But yeah, just about all of it. I mean, how much do
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, heck, even my book right now is on my phone. So
Same. But I don't like all that screen time. I really need to force myself off to do
right.
other things because it I don't know. It's not good for my eyesight for one thing, which
Mm-hmm.
is poor anyway. But I don't know, there's something about it that just kind of like a time sucker, waster. I don't feel accomplished at all. I just I need to not do so much screen time. So yeah, I need to take that lesson to me. But yeah, all our kids have not all of them have come back and said, "I'm so glad you limited that." But at
Right.
least 3 of them have.
And I think it helped with their creativity because then as they all went out to do as adults, I think all of them have a creative streak that they're using now that they're adults, whether it's through dance or art or whatever, they're all using those creative skills that they had because we didn't lock them in front of a screen. Given some of the research these days, like, oh yeah, anxiety. And I mean, our kids had no chance. They were going to deal with anxiety. That's just, and as much as we made it worse, because we are flawed human beings and flawed parents, at least we didn't stack all of social media on top of it. I guess the next question is, if you had to give advice, maybe that's a horrible thing, but if you had to give advice to somebody who's parenting teens that are going to become adults, how do you, not advice to those parents as parents, but how do you deal with yourself as a parent as your kids start to move on? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And I really don't know that I have an answer because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. Mostly just let it go. And some things. I guess I look at it as, if they ask me for advice, I will have advice and I will help. But I need to learn to let them ask me for help.
Right.
First. And that is so hard. It's not something I've had to do as a parent very much. That's probably something I should have done more as they were growing up, is let them struggle until they ask me for help. Let them know, hey, I'm here to help if you need it. But then let them do their thing, and then if they need it, they'll ask me.
Right.
Hopefully.
That might be it, is to let the kids make their own choices, because they're not going to make your choices.
Even if it's the wrong choice, let them make those wrong choices, because, like I said before, you'll learn almost as much or sometimes even more from making the wrong choices than making the right choices. Just really hard to watch as a parent. Which is why sometimes I'm like, do I really want to?
Yes. Yeah, and sometimes it's hard. It's like, okay, yeah, they're not going to church. And sometimes schedules, it's not a lack of desire, it's just work schedules or things. Or none of them are like, I think we only have like one kid who's like into Star Wars. And Star Wars is like my favorite thing. I
don't even know which one it is. No clue.
It was Brenna.
Yeah, Brenna's always been in.
Of course, when Brittany was back, they were doing a Star Wars marathon last summer. No,
I think it was over Christmas.
It was over Christmas. Yeah, so maybe, but it's one of those, the things I'm totally into. On the other hand, I introduced them to anime and video games, and they sort of fell down that rabbit hole, even though they went way out into a different direction than I did. But it's like, they don't like all the same things I do. This is sad. Right.
But that's good. They're going to run into that, in marriage or work relationships or whatever, where they're not going to share all of those same things. And so, they have a little bit of practice, and we have a little bit of practice of letting them like different things and how to handle that. And
yeah, absolutely.
But it's sad. I want I want one of my kids to share my things, and they do. I think most of our kids, most of the things that I like are shared by one or more of the kids.
Yeah, most of the kids like to play games. Said most of them have a creative streak, even if it manifests differently. Well, you like to crochet and don't like to sew.
I want to like to sew. I love fabric. I just cutting out everything is just. It's so tedious.
Yes. On the other hand, we've got at least 3 of our kids who are like, oh yeah, sewing. This is a thing I can do. But they're not picking up crochet hooks.
Brittany did a little bit. Rebecca did a little bit. I don't know if any of them do.
Yeah.
But that may change over time. Who knows? But that's fine. I share that with my mom. So.
Right. Yeah. So it's. But all that said, I love seeing the adults our kids became.
And are still becoming because they change.
Yes, and are still becoming. And I'm still excited to see whatever happens in their future. Even if it's not how I would drive them, which is good because I would probably send them in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Same. I just have to, I think that's one of the hardest things is I have to remember that they are not like me. They don't have the knowledge that I have. They have different knowledge than I do. And so if they want to go off to Scotland, which would freak me out because I just don't even know how to go about that or manage. I would figure it out if I really wanted to do it. I would figure it out. But it would just freak me out. And so,
right.
But she knows how. Now I can go to her for advice.
Well, yeah. And actually, that's an interesting change in the relationship, right? It's like, okay, how do I Scotland? Well, I can talk to my daughter because she has done this.
Where do I go for YouTube videos on how to make a dress out of a table or a skirt out of a tablecloth?
Right.
Because I have another daughter who knows how to do that.
Right. You know, I like that I can sit and talk programming languages with our son. Because, you know, I haven't been able to talk to anybody. Yes, you fall asleep.
It just goes right over my head, and I just have no interest.
You know, we were able to sit down and talk AI and large language models at the table one day because he had taken courses in that. It's like, oh, okay, this is cool. I like seeing this. But so that's the other thing that's fun.
Yeah, but then he goes and plays board games with me. He's up for any board game I want to play, which is awesome.
Yes. Yes. I said games are his jam, which is why he is studying to make games. So, you know. Cool. So any other thoughts, any other things you might want to share with our happy viewers?
Parenting is hard at any age. I remember when the kids were growing up, I'd think, oh, I can't wait till they're whatever stage. Because da-da-da-da-da-da. And then I get to that stage and realize, oh, this is hard too, just for a different reason.
Yep.
And I'm sure we have got more hard stages coming up. The whole grandkid thing, I'm sure that's going to freak me out. They're going to make their mistakes, and I have to sit back and watch and know that, hey, this is going to lead you this way. This is going to make this consequence, and have to sit back and watch that. And that's going to freak me out too. And my mom says she worries more about her grandkids than she ever did about her kids. And that freaks me out because I'm like, how can I worry more than this?
Yep.
Parenting is an adventure, but I have grown into a better person because of it.
Yes, I agree with all of that. The last thing I would say is don't stop loving your kids because they're adults, right? That's silly, right? And you don't stop loving them because they make different choices or just because they're not living in your home anymore. Yeah, it's okay. Let them be their own people and love them even though they're not doing everything you want them to do because no, it's awesome. So with that, thank you everybody for sticking around this far. If you have thoughts, I'm sure you do. Everybody has thoughts. Share them in the comments here on YouTube or on Spotify. We're always happy to hear what you have to say about all this fun stuff. And until next time, be excellent to each other and your kids too, because they need it. And this is Music Free Static signing off.